Hello again, guys. I know you're thinking, oh my goodness, we're hearing from her again so soon. But after I got through grading your preliminary rhetorical analysis, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some things that I noticed, not necessarily 100% across the board, but things that I noticed quite a bit in your rhetorical analysis assignments. And I just wanted to address these with you guys now so that you could think about them moving forward with the future rhetorical analysis. First and foremost, it's not even foremost really, it's just the first thing I'm bringing up to you guys, is you're going to want to make sure that you mention the author and the title of the piece in the first sentence of that rhetorical analysis. And why would you want to do that? Because it helps set the stage for everything else that's coming after it, right? You want the reader to know what you're writing about so that everything else kind of makes sense. It puts it all into context for them. Another thing that's important for you guys to do is to use evidence from the text. A lot of you guys did that. I suggested that some of you guys do it more than you did. And why would you want to use some more evidence from the text? Well, you're basically trying to prove the credibility of a particular piece. And going back to that source text for evidence will help you be credible in your analysis. And on that same point, when you're using evidence from the text, you're going to want to try and do it seamlessly. And I realize that that's kind of an abstract thing for me to be asking you to do, but think about how you can work those parts of a source text into your own writing. So I don't really want to see sentence by you, sentence from, the source text, and another sentence by you. If you can, introduce it, use a portion of that sentence, and then finish the sentence yourself so that the author's words and your words are kind of blending together to form a cohesive piece of writing for yourself. And in that sort of sentence scheme, think about varying your sentence structure. You're pulling in a lot of examples for things into this, and a lot of you said an example of this, then explained it, then said an example of that, and then explained it, and then another example of this. It gets a little when you do it that way, and you don't want your writing to sound that way. You don't really talk that way, so you don't really want to sound that way in your writing either. So just consider varying your sentence structure. If you find yourself doing that, think about how you could say things differently. One thing I would urge you guys to do, and I know you might feel a little bit silly doing this, but read your stuff out loud. Whether you read it out loud to yourself, whether you read it out loud alone, record it and listen back to it, whether you read it to somebody or have somebody read it to you, hearing what you wrote completely changes the way that you think about it. So that's just a tip for writing that has always worked for me, and I share it with students every semester because I think it works for you guys too. I notice a difference after folks start doing that. Things start sounding better in your writing. And lastly, with these things, follow the prompt. That's what it's there for. So just look at all the things the prompt is asking you to do and then do those things. It's not a super difficult thing to do. Just use the prompt as a checklist. Better yet, check out the rubrics. They're at the bottom of the assignments. Use those as a checklist. Are you doing all of the things to get the highest score that you possibly can? Self-check your own writing. That's what they're for. They're self-check, self-talk rubrics. So they're for you to check yourself. And that's also what I grade based off of. And then one final note, and I will let you guys get back to your regularly scheduled lives. With the rhetorical reading notes moving forward, you'll notice that they're in a slightly different format than they were the first time around. You're going to be doing them in the format of a quiz, which means moving forward, I'm actually going to be grading individual responses. So that's a sort of a technical thing on the back end that the university needs me to do for the main rhetorical reading notes assignments. So just don't let that throw you. Just answer each question as thoroughly as you can and make sure you answer everything the question is asking you to answer. Hopefully this has been helpful, and enjoy the rest of your week.